Got another live show going.
Are we back? We gotta go to the next go over to the next stream. I think.
Yep, I'm in it.
Okay. Sorry.
Take two.
My God, why can't I get in the chat? Am I bad at this? Here we are.
Is anybody else in here?
Nope. Everyone's in the old chat. We gotta get our friends back. Oh. Yes, hello. Welcome. So where were we? We got to back up. We were just talking about the acceptance speech, and then I didn't hear anything you said because I was freaking out.
This episode was based off of a real life contest that Larry David was in, and he won.
Okay.
And it lasted 3 weeks.
3 weeks, huh?
Yeah.
So, in this episode, what does it last? 2 days?
Yeah, it seems like it's pretty short.
Well, we know Kramer's out immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. How did he know that there was a naked woman? He's on the other side of the building.
Word around town.
Yeah, I guess.
I also question the configuration of the building.
There's a whole like subreddit about Jerry's apartment.
Sure, yeah. So who are the guest stars?
So who are the guest stars? Do you like your shirt?
Custom made shirt. I gotta turn. Where's the? I wish I did some push-ups before everybody was looking at me. So, we have our first appearance of Estelle Harris playing Estelle Costanza.
Yeah.
She'll come back recurringly. What was she known for? Toy Story 2.
Oh, yeah.
A very iconic voice. I'm trying to find something that it's not like her voice. Futurama. That was also probably her voice. She was in
Yes.
Curb. The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Oh. Hey, that's, isn't that, the guy from Riverdale?
Is it? Hi, Farah.
No.
Jughead?
Jughead.
Oh.
Jughead and his twin brother. I think that's there when they were kids.
She was on an episode of Moesha. So, interestingly, she had never seen or heard of Seinfeld before she auditioned. Her son was just like, oh, this is an audition, and you got to come in, and this was the first episode that she did.
wow, she was great.
She was like, nah, there's no way this is going to make it to air.
I think that's actually perfect because she's like the mom that is worried about you, doesn't believe what you're doing is like, you know, legit. When George's cousin shows up at the hospital, Shelley, you know, Estelle doesn't say, "Oh, my son is a TV writer." You know, she's excited for him. She's kind of like, "Tell her what you do."
So Shelley was played by Rachel Sweet.
Do we ever see her again?
I don't think so. Let me see if I can quickly find that.
I wonder if they called her Shelley because Jerry's apartment building is called the Shelley, and they're like, "We need a name." Shelley.
I think Rachel Sweet was a bit more of a producer than she was an actor. She has a lot of producing credits for a bunch of TV shows and just kind of like episodes here and there. Yeah. She doesn't come back in any more Seinfelds.
Do you know if Tom Sharonis doesn't direct any episodes of Seinfeld?
Yes.
How many?
When we get to like later seasons, he doesn't do them anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What happened?
Well,
they don't like Tom Sharonis anymore?
Too big for their britches. Got too big for their Sharonises.
He's the guy who looks like a director, right? He wears like the safari vest with all the
I'd
pockets.
say he kind of looks like a director, yeah. The other guest star is Ilana Levine, who played Joyce.
Who's Joyce? The aerobics lady?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's see, what was she in? She's kind of like a bit actor in a whole bunch of stuff. Law and Order, Criminal Intent. Tanner on Tanner, Law and Order. Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. It's great.
Was there anyone else? Who played the arm of JFK Jr.?
It doesn't say. Do you want to talk about JFK Jr.?
Sure.
So, you know about the people that are waiting for him in Daley Plaza in Dallas to announce that he's running with Trump as his VP running mate in 2024.
This is why you came into my office today and you said, "I need a source for QAnon info."
Yeah. So apparently they were waiting there for him to return in 2019 and in 2021. And people haven't left Dallas and are still waiting. So famously, he's deceased.
Yes.
In 1999, he died in a plane crash.
Yes.
Also, like, his dad died in Daley Plaza, not him. So why would he return there? Like, ghost law implies that he was...
Is that why they're there? Oh.
I guess. Like...
Yeah. What, are you gonna die and then travel? You haunt the place where you died. You die, get on a bus, and go haunt some other place? No.
And so the reason that he's involved is there's like a belief that John F. Kennedy Jr. is Q working undercover in the government.
Great butt.
Apparently.
John's butt.
Do you know what John F. Kennedy Jr. looks like? Is he like an amazingly attractive man?
I think I remember him from like supermarket magazines and stuff, probably from when he died.
I really thought you were going to say Supermarket Sweep.
He was just shoveling those hams in there.
What a great show. Are you good at buying stuff? You do great on this game show.
Why are they taking rice? Why not go right for the turkeys?
Oh, yeah.
Just fill your cart with turkeys.
Yeah.
Did we already talk about how I know people who were on bumper stumpers? And did we already talk about how we know somebody who was on Family Feud?
Hasn't been on Family Feud. It hasn't aired yet.
I thought it aired on Monday.
It airs on October 3rd.
Oh my God. We have to watch on October 3rd.
Watch Canadian Family Feud for Commissioner Legend Art Washington.
Yeah. Hosted by Mr. D? Jerry D?
He does the Canadian Jeopardy or the Canadian Family. Yeah.
Yeah.
He does Family Feud.
Yeah.
Canadian Family Feud.
It's not Steve Harvey.
It's not Steve Harvey.
Okay. What were we talking about? JFK Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what he looks like.
You good looking man?
I think he was a good-looking man.
Picture of JFK Jr.
So I was going to ask, I guess he wasn't married at this point when this episode came out. Because he was married to someone. He was married to
Carolyn
someone.
Bessette Kennedy, 1996 to 1999.
Oh, yeah. So he was still a single man.
Yeah. That's why he was doing all those aerobics classes.
Inviting ladies to share his cab and then saying, I'm going to pick you up here tomorrow. You're my type. I guess when you're at Kennedy, that's just what you do.
You're my type. Meet me here.
And they say, okay.
I was going to say this is kind of like a Craigslist Misconnections before Craigslist existed.
Yeah, kind of. Man.
You were in my aerobics class and we shared a cab uptown.
Yeah. Nice butt. So we have to go back to the first stand-up. We've talked about...
We haven't talked about anything. Yeah,
No.
There's a lot going on.
Jerry's talking about how you never want to visualize your parents doing it.
Nope.
And you'd like to believe that maybe they never did. Right? They're just good friends.
Sure.
Agree? Disagree?
It's accepted fact. We're not disputing these things. These events occurred.
Yeah, but it's not something that you ever want to think about.
All right, moving on.
Okay.
Why did we have to pick the most awkward episode to do a live episode for? We could have just done this one, swept it under the rug, had a tight 15 minutes just about what happened.
Yeah. Let's talk more about this stand-up.
Sure.
No. Then they're in the diner and they start a weird conversation about if you were ever held hostage, would they do your laundry?
I think it'd be nice to get clean clothes, but
I doubt that that's on the offer. I think you're in the clothes you're in.
Probably. What do they do in Guantanamo?
I guess they wash those jumpsuits.
Hmm.
But that's not a it's not a hostage situation.
Technically.
You don't really have the resources for a laundry service when you're taking hostages, I'm assuming.
Never having been held hostage, I can't really say.
Listener Katie says, of course JFK was good looking. Yep. And then the barf emoji. So was he or wasn't he?
I think the barf emoji came in when you're talking about parents having sex.
Oh, okay. So then George comes in and he sits down all forlorn and sad, and they're like, "What's with you?" My mother caught me.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was alone.
ugh. So hang on. George lives with his parents, right?
Not yet.
He's got dinosaur sheets in his own house?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like you thought when he brought that woman...
It was to his parents. Because I'm assuming he was in his childhood bedroom with the dino sheets.
He's just a grown man with dino sheets.
Okay.
A poster of the Justice League on his wall above his bed.
Yeah, I'm not sure which would be worse, actually. What is
Well-
he, 45?
No, they're 28.
It's not believable.
That's what they are. They're like late 20s in this.
So his mother... Okay, let's talk about this. His mother catches him.
Yeah.
For the rest of the episode, she is apoplectic.
Yep.
That he's doing this and she wants him to go to therapy. What's her problem?
So, I think you can make a case, just because she caught him doing that act. Are we going to say that? Are we going to say masturbation?
I have to mute my mic too if we're going to mute our mics.
It's funnier my way. She catches him masturbating. What was I going to say? If it's like you have such a perversion that you like need to like go into somebody else's house and you're so like,
I guess it was in her house. So okay. So I didn't understand because I thought he lived at home.
no, yeah. So it's like you're going into like people's houses. Like that's a sexual kink that yes, you could probably get psychiatric help for. But
Where in his mother's house was he?
I assume the foyer.
No, I think this is relevant. Was he in the living room? Was he in their room?
So having seen the Costanza's house in later seasons, probably in the living room.
Okay.
But like the way it's set up, you could probably hide it pretty well.
I think I can picture
You
it.
gotta suspend disbelief. She caught him. Doesn't matter where.
She caught him. So okay, it makes a little more sense that she's upset that he's in her house doing this.
Yeah.
But I also see it from his point of view. No one was home. Right? Like, how long does it take? No one's going to know.
No one will ever know.
How will they know?
You just got a couple of free minutes in your parents' house. And
there's a Glamour magazine.
Yeah, so Glamour magazine. They don't do a print edition anymore. It's all online.
When George said it, I said out loud, Glamour. And then Jerry said, Glamour.
He goes back to it twice.
Yeah.
Glamour magazine?
I mean, Glamour?
I don't know. Whatever floats George's boats.
I guess so. And then, then they talk about how often and the need to masturbate.
Mm-hmm.
And Elaine's like, well, like, why do you have to, like, what's the big deal? Why do you have to do it so much? Like,
well, so at this point they've established that there will be a contest and Elaine wants in.
She wants in.
And they are like, you need to give us odds.
Yeah. But no, no, this is before. George says because it's there.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
Because it's there. And yeah.
Because it's there.
And then he immediately says, I'm never doing it again.
Joe Rogan has a joke in his stand-up about how Tyrannosaurus Rex went extinct because they couldn't reach their junk and masturbate.
Does he know how procreation works?
I don't know.
Jerry says, you can't, it's apples and oranges. You can't compare.
Yeah.
It's like shaving.
I shave my legs.
Kramer goes, not every day.
I think the delivery in that line where he has like half a mouthful of milkshake was just so good.
So, okay, this is a good Kramer episode, I think, except the fact that he's a peeping Tom. But basically everything he says and the way he says it is very funny.
Yeah. There's a scene later on where Jerry's going to go over and tell the woman across the street to like close her blinds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he delivers this like desperate monologue that I think might be the best Kramer acting we've seen in this in the series so far.
And I've heard that monologue before. Do it for me, Jerry.
Yeah.
And then they do an awkward pinky swear in midair.
The awkward pinky swear, the actors would convene on the set in Jerry's bathroom and do that before every episode.
Really?
They called it the Circle of Power or something.
In the bathroom?
Well, I don't know. It was away from, like, it's not in front of the whole audience.
So the audience just sees four people go into a tiny
I
prop
don't know.
bathroom and hold hands?
I'm just telling you what happened.
The Circle of Power.
It wasn't until this episode that I thought about how different it is to film in front of a live audience. Not that we're also filming in front of a live audience, but like
barely.
We watch like a lot of Community and listen to a lot of the commentary, and they'll talk about like how they were working until, you know, like 4 a.m. to like finish up a scene. In the course of some of my research, they were talking about like how funny it was and like how the actors kept breaking, and they were like, we weren't going to be able to like finish the scene by the time we needed to be done. And I was like,
you just keep going.
And it was like, well, the audience has to, like, you have an audience there. You got to get them out of there.
I'm getting chats on my phone too. You got to go into the live chat. I'm not going to look at my phone anymore.
How do you like the Teeling's whiskey? Teeling's, Dublin's distillery.
For the best of times. It's very nice. So then we meet George's mom. Do people get put in traction anymore?
I was going to ask this. So George says that she throws her back out and she's going to be in the hospital for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm. That's wild.
Laying in bed?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And like I picture traction as in like you've got a full body cast, right? Like this is traction to me when you're incapable of even like putting pressure on your body because you're so
on like
broken.
a medieval rack and they're like
Yes.
stretching your like legs and arms apart.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think that's what it is.
Well, she's just laying in bed with a pillow under her knees.
I guess. I don't. We got Googles here. We can just.
Do people still get put in traction?
What is traction?
Do people still get sponge baths like every day in the hospital?
Speaking from experience.
You got sponge baths every day from a sexy nurse?
No, not every day.
I mean, you gotta stay clean.
And yeah, the nurse was sexy. His name was Jet.
So they talk a little bit about nudists and like nudist colonies. Do you go to the dining room and eat in the nude? Are the chambermaids nude?
I imagine it's one big nudorama.
It's
It's also probably one big duderama.
Yeah. Do you remember the people we know who are nudists?
Pardon?
I guess not. Former coworker of mine. Not at work, obviously, but in his home life was just a nudist. Do you not know this?
No, I don't know. This is news to me. We are breaking news, people. Live.
Apparently, yes. And his I'm not sure if it was his wife's idea or his idea, but they had a child and they basically raised him in the nude.
For what purpose?
I don't really know, because it's a more natural state of being, I guess.
Write down who and just show me. You don't want to say it on air. If you know in the chat, shout it out.
Don't shout it out.
What?
Yeah. So imagine that guy. In the nude. All the time. Yep. This is what I think of when I think of like a nudist colony. It's not sexy, like toned and tan, beautiful people. It's this guy.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, he was like a 5'4" potato with string beans for arms and legs.
Yeah.
And his name, what? No, I shouldn't do it.
What if he listens?
Could listen. He could be a listener. We're talking about you. He should be happy that we're talking about him.
If you're out there, how you doing?
Your naked life.
My naked life. It's the name of my new show.
Anywho.
George's mom in the hospital. She's trying to get him to go see a therapist, and he's saying no. And she goes, too bad you can't do that for a living. Too bad you can't get up on stage and have people pay to see you do that.
Could fill Madison Square Gardens.
Yep.
So basically, she's promoting the idea that George started OnlyFans.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I think she would probably be mad that he did that.
How much money is he making?
Right now, $4,000 from NBC.
I know. No, but like...
On OnlyFans?
If he started an OnlyFans and if he was, you know... If people will pay...
Short, stocky, slow-witted bald men are some people's thing.
Like the nudist.
He wasn't bald.
Okay. But everything else is pretty...
There you go.
George is way better looking. I'm sorry.
I think George is better looking than everybody.
So Elaine goes to the gym. She's going to an aerobics class. And her friend has set up a treat for her.
Before we talk about Elaine, I would like to talk about the sexy shadow show.
Okay.
So we went to high school. We didn't go to we went to high school, and in grade 10, they took the entire class for like a week. You would go camping, and you do like a bunch of like team building activities, et cetera, et cetera.
Where is this going?
At night, the counselors would.
Where is this going?
Not the so it was an all male cast in this production, but they would like shine a bright light on the side of your tent and then like pretend to like have like a.
This was a school event.
Oh, there was lots of shenanigans going on.
What is the most
That wasn't. Sorry, I should clarify. That was not a school endorsed
activity?
team building activity.
So what's the great tragedy of this trip? You're a year older than me.
Mm-hmm.
You went on this trip.
Yep.
When it was my year's turn to go on this trip, there was a teacher strike.
Yep. And they canceled it for everybody.
Who was supposed to be my counselor for this trip?
I wasn't supposed to be your counselor. I was supposed to run an activity.
Well, I would have met you.
You would have met me. We could have started this whole podcast back then.
I often think if we'd met in high school, we went to the same high school a year apart. We didn't know each other. We met much later. If we had met in high school, would it be like, right? Like, or are you my soulmate?
Well, we probably wouldn't have gotten together in high school.
Why not? Why not?
Just because like we were different grades and different.
It happens.
I guess, but I don't know, because we didn't know each other. I don't know.
But go on an imagination exercise with me.
We would have met and fallen madly in love at the age of 14 and 15.
It happens.
Sure, yeah, I guess so.
We've been to at least one of those weddings.
A friend of mine, he started dating his now wife in grade 10.
Yeah.
They've never dated anybody else. There you go.
So I guess I'm glad I didn't meet you then.
You got to meet all those other guys.
Let's move on.
Okay.
I know this is later, but at the gym, when Elaine comes back, she's, looking over her shoulder, looking into the studio for JFK Jr., and her friend Joyce or whoever says, well, he's not here. And she's all, she's done her hair and but he asked about you. And then she keeps adding more things to this, and Elaine is losing her mind, and she goes, you're trying to injure me. She doesn't believe this is all true. I just like that. You're trying to injure me. And she's like leaning over the counter. But JFK Jr. has asked about her. I shouldn't tap my pen.
Making all the noises I usually make.
I know. You were supposed to silence your phone.
I thought I did.
Oh my God.
Sorry, this is
Very
amateur hour.
unprofessional. Was someone saying there's something wrong? Because I got a weird error.
No, it was
Okay.
nothing. Something else.
So everyone's checking in with each other. First of all, they show the four trying to sleep, can't sleep, trying to sleep, can't sleep, trying to sleep, can't sleep. Kramer.
Sleeping like a baby.
Yeah. So then they're checking in with each other, and they say, are you still the master of your domain?
I'm king of the county,
Lord of the manor.
queen of the castle.
Yeah.
Do counties have kings?
No. I was going to ask you, so you saw this
3
as
days. Oh, sorry.
you saw this episode as a child
Yes.
originally, right?
Yeah, it was 1992. Yeah, I was 10.
So did you understand what they were talking about?
That's a good question. I guess, I don't know.
Like, I'm not expecting you to
seeing
remember.
it in syndication and obviously remember
Yes,
it.
that's I assume so. But like because you know the jokes that are meant to,
Go over your head, but this
Yeah.
like,
but with the writing, like maybe you're just like, I don't know, they're having a contest and Kramer lost and Elaine lost. Like, would you
Yeah.
put it together at 10?
that's a good question. I don't think I would, just knowing 10-year-olds. But I don't know.
Because there's certainly jokes in TV shows that I'm watching again, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I did not get that as a kid.
Sure.
I barely got it as an adult.
I can try and give it to you more if that's what you're... Oh, sorry.
Derailed. Totally derailed. Tiny Toons, wholesome entertainment.
Reportedly, Jerry Seinfeld claims to have never heard the song Wheels on the Bus before filming this episode.
No way.
That seems unbelievable.
Okay, Wheels on the Bus. Here we go. How old is Wheels on the Bus? I don't want to hear it. I just want to know about it.
So I think maybe like the lowest point of the episode is this weird, creepy talking that Kramer's doing where he's like directing the woman across the street to like...
Yeah. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like it. You're just circling it. Creepy talking.
Creepy Kramer.
Also, why is Jerry tolerating this creep in his apartment? Why doesn't he tell him to leave?
Because this is where Kramer can see the naked woman.
I know, but he's like,
You
he
gotta,
should
I mean,
he should say, "You've had enough naked woman time. Like, leave my apartment." Jerry's like singing the wheels on the bus, trying to keep the wheels on his bus, and Creepo is over there narrating the scene for him.
Jerry seemingly has a literal open door policy with Kramer.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, what's he gonna say? Why does he have to be alone? Maybe he doesn't want to be alone.
Oh, okay. Possibly.
What?
There was something about Madonna in the Wikipedia page about Wheels on the Bus. I'll get into that another time.
So the contest seems to really be getting to Jerry and George because they're just snapping at each other.
So cranky. I liked when George was talking about the socks. I wrote Cranky George.
Those are my socks. One thing to note, though, is Jerry now has a jar of instant coffee in his house. In
Right.
the episode The Library, when Mr. Bookman comes over, he asks for a cup of coffee, and Jerry's like, "No, I don't have anything." He's like, "Folgers Crystals? You don't have Folgers Crystals? Put them on the
Folgers
shelf so they last
Crystals.
forever."
Who refers to it as crystals?
Freeze-dried crystals.
He says George is criticizing him because all he has is instant. He's like, I get my coffee on the outside. The coffee we like went on sale. Oh my God. How many bags of coffee did we buy? 15?
We bought 15 pounds of coffee. It was too good a deal to pass up.
It doesn't. It just sits on the shelf.
Yeah.
Doesn't go bad.
It's fine. It's vacuum packed.
So Elaine comes in. She's going to meet JFK Jr. at Jerry's apartment. And she starts doing that thing. Elaine Bennis Kennedy Jr. Do you think she's been signing her name? Elaine Bennis Kennedy.
In her notebook. She's been practicing her new signature.
And then she... why did I write, oh boy, she's a wacko? Because Marla got upset about the contest?
Elaine says that about Marla because... so Jerry and Marla are on the couch having this passionate makeout session. And she's like, it's time. And
that's exactly what she said. It's time. Bruce Buffer style.
Yeah. She stops making out with Jerry. It's time. Yeah, I don't know what she says. She says like, oh, look, she says, let's go into the bedroom. And he's like, oh, are you sure? And she's like, I know how difficult this has been for you. And he's like, you don't know the half of it.
Yeah.
To which we like.
Why did she get so upset about this?
Well, I mean, I think she's a pretty prudish
I know she's
person.
a prude, but it's not like Jerry. It's not like Jerry is involving her in any of this, right? Like this is him, his business, his friends. Like he's not. It's not like a contest of like how many women can you sleep with or how many people can you sleep with, right? It's pretty benign as far as like things to get upset about that your boyfriend's doing. Am I wrong?
When was the last time you talked about masturbation with your friends? Not
Never.
Including this podcast.
Never.
So it's like a private. So somebody who has been talking about like masturbating
is probably talking about her as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. True.
And it's also like a little bit of a.
So Lane calls her a wacko. She then goes downstairs, and Marla comes out.
Well, she's gonna leave, and Lane's waiting on the street for her, and she's like, "Get away from me!"
Yeah. Okay.
You're discussing friends, and then I guess JFK Jr. is running late. He's doing some important QAnon business, and so Elaine goes up, says like, "Oh, I didn't show." And George comes in. He's like, "Oh yeah, I just saw him downstairs. He's talking to Marla."
She was crying. He consoled her. She got in his car and they drove away.
So Jerry Seinfeld has said that what he likes best about this episode isn't the like nuanced double entendres, any of that. He really appreciates how these two stories between the Virgin and JFK Jr. dovetails and comes together.
So I was going to ask, does Marla ever come back? Because you said she was in 4 episodes.
Yeah, she comes back.
Right away?
No.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So real-time correction.
Uh-huh.
The Wheels on the Bus version was from a Madonna impersonator. There's a version by a Madonna impersonator named Mad Donna. Mm-hmm. And Mad Donna samples Wheels on the Bus over Ray of Light, which I want to hear this now, but I don't think we can play it live.
Yeah, we aren't sure about the copyright laws.
I wanted to play that 21st Day of September song to start our podcast as like intro music.
What song is that?
Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, okay.
But we can't.
Okay.
We usually.
Did you sing enough that we're going to get like in trouble?
I think it's like singing the last 3 words of Happy Birthday. If you just
to
say
you.
You can't be sued. Not anymore, but you couldn't be sued. Like we usually watch baseball while we're recording, and MLB would be all over us if we had it on.
In case we couldn't use the song Happy Birthday, we prepared a second song that we would use.
And then I just have the last stand-up. Men want to see what they can't see.
So I have a question for you, which some of the reviews and some of the synopsises of this episode. Before the last stand-up, we see the gang runs over to the window, and they see this whole like slow reveal, like, oh my god, it can't be Kramer. And so Kramer's gone over, and he's with the nudist.
Yeah.
How much of that do you think they watched? Because they were like, oh, he's waving.
And then they wave. So they've revealed that they can see. Do you think Kramer told her, I've been watching you from over there?
I don't know. I don't think that's a good move.
No.
I mean, unless she's into it.
I feel like she is into it. She must know the entire apartment building can see her.
I guess.
But they wave. I was looking at Elaine's face because she is very surprised to see Kramer.
I don't want to spoil anything.
Oh.
So I don't want to like talk about like the gang getting to see each other.
Okay.
Anyways.
So just to answer an online question, yes, the Screen Crush and Vulture were on the same page.
Everybody has it in number one.
Number one, baby. Which I don't know if I agree with. I can't name you a Seinfeld episode I've seen to date that I would put higher, but it's because I have a bad memory. But I don't feel like it's the best one I've seen so far. I don't know. Am I being too harsh on this?
I feel like this might hit a lot of really good elements that make a great Seinfeld episode, right? Like it has stories coming together. It has like clever writing from real life things that happened to Jerry Seinfeld or Larry David. It present like at the time, I think this was a very like avant-garde episode. So some of the background around it, Larry David had this idea in his like book to write an episode on for like a super long time.
Okay.
And he never mentioned it to Jerry Seinfeld because he didn't think Jerry would go for it. And then he mentioned it to Jerry, and Jerry's like, yeah, let's do it. And so then he wouldn't write, like they would write their storylines on a whiteboard in the writing room. He didn't add it there because he didn't want NBC executives coming in and being like, oh, what's this story about? So he wrote the first draft and only handed it out one day before the table read. And Larry David has said like, you know, we did the reading, like NBC executives were there. If they didn't agree to do this episode, I was going to quit the show.
Wow. Well, he was right. He won an Emmy.
The feedback that they got, though, is in his first draft, it was much more lewd. Like they mentioned the word masturbation.
Oh.
They used the phrase like there was a tugging motion. And Jerry was like, no. Like if we clean it up, it makes it funnier and it makes it better and it makes it like a smarter, like how do you do a whole episode where they don't really like, first off, they don't mention the act by name. They don't really infer like any like euphemisms for it either. Nope. So I think like because of all those things, it hits a lot of the like
fair
great notes that make a great episode.
Yeah, I buy that. Is it your number one so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'm just not 100% sold on it because I was aware of it. And my expectations might have been too high.
There's one episode that I'm thinking of that I haven't seen it in a long time, so I'm it might be like looking at it with rose-colored glasses, but it could be a better episode.
Yeah. This season?
No. Okay. Season 7.
Oh. It's like years from now.
Yup.
So we've kind of, that's the episode. Do you have anything else to say about it from your research?
I think I hit on everything. I oh no, I remember what I wrote. I was gonna say that my handwriting is so bad on some of my notes. I kept like over the week making notes because I would and some of it was so bad I could not understand what I had written, but I figured it out.
And have you said it all?
Yes.
Okay.
Other than like I said it was the first appearance of Estelle Harris. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean obviously.
When do we see George's dad?
Season 5.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So well, we'll talk about it. What happened?
You know what's funny? I assumed because Jerry's parents live out of town.
Mm-hmm.
I also assumed that George's parents don't live in New York. Because I guess I figured he would talk about them more.
Yeah.
But
So do you know who plays George's dad?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I do. We never meet his brother
Or Jerry's sister.
or Jerry's sister. I'm disappointed. We met fucking cousin Shelley. What was
could
the
have been
point
his
of cousin
sister.
Shelley?
I don't know.
Anyway. I have corrections.
I also have corrections. You want to go first?
So, we're going to talk about the last episode, which was The Virgin. I have quite a lot, but I don't know if any of it is good. I looked up what syndication means and like, I don't care. I'm I wrote a whole paragraph. So it doesn't matter. But I was looking up sitcom backlash. Like what? Like was there a cultural phenomenon at the time of like those two women at the bar being disgusted that George was writing on a sitcom?
Okay.
So when I Googled sitcom backlash, these are the results that Google gave me. Ted Lasso overrated, Reddit. Chuck Lorre shows 2022. Ted Lasso not funny, Reddit. Ted Lasso season 2 review. Ted Lasso is bad. Ted Lasso season 3. Ted Lasso season 2 is bad. Ted Lasso season 2 cast.
Oh. We haven't watched season 2 of Ted Lasso yet, even though it's been out for like a year.
Do people really not like Ted Lasso?
I think a lot of people were like, I mean, season 1 was so fantastic.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
I mean, how do you live up to it?
I guess. We were talking about Snapple. There was a lot of Snapple talk in The Virgin.
Mm-hmm.
Snapple was founded in 1972 in Long Island. The original company name was Unadulterated Food. Sounds great.
Did all of that fit on a label?
Their first drink was carbonated apple juice.
That does not sound good.
It fermented and exploded.
Yeah.
Therefore, Snap Apple.
Uh,
Do you remember Snapple Lady ads? That was like a big ad campaign for them. I vaguely remember. Did you know they had radio ads hosted by or like read by Howard Stern and Rush Limbaugh for Snapple?
I guess those jerks will sell anything.
And then they hired a new ad agency and they got tennis player Jennifer Capriati to be their spokesperson. Oh, more Snapple facts. There's a tie-in with Snapple and the Closet Organizer, Marla. One false, you know how they had the facts on the cap, the Snapple facts. There's a whole list of untrue Snapple facts on Wikipedia. One of them being that Thomas Jefferson invented the coat hanger.
Oh.
Not true.
They just put out misinformation into the world like that?
They just wrote whatever the hell they wanted. They
And
said,
then they were hawked by Rush Limbaugh?
"Yep,
Wow.
actually, pretty good fit."
Yeah.
Do you want to hear some other non-true Snapple facts?
More than anything in the world.
They claimed that owls are the only birds that can see the color blue. This is not true. All birds can see it. Another Snapple fact.
What a weird thing to lie about.
Another Snapple fact is the temperature of the sun is 15 million degrees Fahrenheit. It's not. It's like 11,000 only. They claimed that dueling is legal in Paraguay if both parties are registered blood donors. This is also not true, and the Paraguayan consulate has publicly debunked this fact.
Cool. That was like, remember the Pez dispenser? How you were like, oh, on TikTok, I saw how you could like fill a whole Pez dispenser, and then you're like, Googled it, and we went to Pez's website, and they were like, we know you're here from TikTok.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually work.
Exactly.
We disavow loading your Pez dispenser in the wrapper.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's your comment. Yeah, Del Boca Vista.
Yeah, so I live in Queens near Lloyd Braun.
What's Lloyd Braun?
We'll find out.
Okay. I've got more. So the... Just throw down your notes.
Go ahead.
They talked about Elaine's diaphragm on this episode on The Virgin. And we mentioned the Big Mouth episode that talked about diaphragms. It's called The Planned Parenthood Show. Is the name of the episode. There's a parody game show within it called Misconception, where Leah, Nick's sister, has to choose a contraception method. So the diaphragm is a gross old lady who smokes. And when she shows up, she says, I'm friends with your mother. And that she knows Leah won't pick her. She just came for the free food.
So the episode of the contest was referenced on many other sitcoms. Not only was it referenced in a later Seinfeld episode, it's been on Family Guy, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The Netflix dating show Too Hot to Handle was based off it, and it was featured in an episode of Big Mouth, where the kids are agreeing to do No Nut November, and the scene takes place in Monk's Cafe.
What? I don't remember that.
Well, you probably didn't get the reference at
yeah.
the time because it was not in your mind. Yeah.
One final diaphragm fact: it was invented in 1882, which isn't surprising because it looks like something invented in 1882. In the 40s, 1/3 of married couples used them. In 2002, 0.2% of U.S. women used one because they seem pretty terrible.
Yeah.
And there are better options. So there you go. Diaphragm facts.
Diaphragm facts. You got anything else?
Well, do you?
I have a correction.
Okay.
Let me just bring this up. So I incorrectly, I got the guest stars wrong.
What?
Last episode. I said that
You
Leah
had
Lael,
one job.
I said that Leah Lael played the new NBC executive, Rita Curson. Leah Lael played Stacy, who was Marla's friend that George talks to in a bar.
Oh.
Rita Curson, who I didn't mention, was played by Anne Twomey.
What was that?
I guess Toomey. Twomey.
Okay.
And she was on a bunch of stuff. What was she on? Third Watch. LA Law. The Image Maker.
No idea.
Anyways. Yeah, so I got the guest stars wrong.
I mean, look at your shirt.
Who are they? They are whoever I say they are.
I think you need to give it back.
No.
Well, the next episode is the airport.
The airport.
Do you remember the airport?
If it's the episode I'm thinking it is, Jerry and Elaine are flying together, and Kramer and George go to pick them up at the airport, and the plane keeps getting redirected between JFK and Newark, and they keep driving back and forth to pick them up.
It sounds good.
Yeah. I got a story. I have a relatable story about this one
Okay.
that we might need to issue some corrections about. We might be requested to issue some corrections about at a later date. Anyways, we'll get there.
Okay. I think I might know this story, but we'll see.
This has been fun.
This has been fun.
You got anything else going?
I don't know. Do you want to hang out longer? What do we? I'm sorry about the technical stuff. It worked out.
Yeah, it seems like the video feed worked out much better after the first try.
Well,
We were blowing up our tubes.
it literally said your quality's too high. We're too high quality for
Too
YouTube.
high quality. Yeah. We're too high quality for our internet connection. We're too high quality for Fido, for a dog.
I saw how much we paid for internet. I was surprised how low it was.
Yeah, that's why I haven't changed it.
Okay. So it's good enough.
Just like this podcast.
Just like this podcast.
Flawless.
Should we just wrap it up? This is the awkward time when we're just recording audio where I say bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us on the live podcast, everybody. I don't think we're going to be doing this every week.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah.
Like episode 100, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see you. You'll see you in another 50 weeks.
Yeah. We'll see you next year.
Bye-bye now.
Bye. Oh, I have to get up and turn it off.